Nietzschean meta-ethics and the use made of it by modern philosophy, both conservative and liberal, is essentially Christianity without the Christ. Nietzsche was not a nihilist, though many of his worshippers pretend he was, and even Nietzsche himself pretended he was. But as we used to say in the military, he can talk the talk, but clearly he did not want to walk the walk. His meta-ethics, as with all his writings, show him to be a moralist who saw nihilism as a problem needing to be solved in order to rescue morality from it. He wanted to rescue morality from nihilism, and he proposed solutions for this rescue, very specific solutions. His solutions consisted of an aristocratic and egotistical Superman, quotation mark, conqueror of God and our nothingness, close quotation mark, whose will to power would restore value to human life. He was willing to await the coming of Superman in the same way Christians await the second coming of their human Son of God. His writings are full of ridicule of the herd and the plebeian lower class of men that he called a deterioration of the European race, because they prefer such things as equality of rights and democracy over great thought and a will to power. For Nietzsche, the nothingness of nihilism is not the existence of a social, ethical, and individual moral vacuum in human society, but, quotation, the dwarfing and leveling, close quotation, of humans by ethics and morality that has transvalued the egotistical good of the aristocratic ruling class that he worshipped, and considered that as a result of such things as democracy, the ruling caste, through the decadent altruism of the slave classes and by their resentment toward their betters, were being reduced to nothingness. God is dead is Nietzsche's famous soundbite, but he wanted a replacement God so that, quotation, humanity as a mass be sacrificed to the prosperity of the one stronger species of man. That would be progress, close quotation mark. Ethical and moral theory based on Nietzschean meta-ethics has on the surface gone the other way, however. Philosophers such as Emmanuel Levinas, Bernard Berkowitz, Peter Berkowitz, Ray Brashear, Manuel Dries, D-R-I-E-S, Randall Havas, Jeffrey Mesker, Joanne Stomberg, and every other postmodern commentator of the Nietzschean critique of nihilism ignores the actual details of Nietzsche's general pontificating on the power of the self and of the other, and through the necessity of modern phenomenological interaction and interpretation between the so-called self and the other, have somehow turned Nietzsche's pontification on the glory of the Superman to somehow replace it with their version of the Christian Beatitudes. If we replace the term other with neighbor in all the modern writings of postmodernism and social justice theory, you'll pretty much have the love thy neighbor Beatitudes, only without the Christ. Supposedly, based on Nietzschean meta-ethics, many moralists and philosophers in ethics see the solution to nihilism to be a social ethics making everyone a Superman, using their will to power to define their own morality that would thus create a social ethics in which everyone respects each other as a universal objective value, or else. None of these arguments state how this creation will occur or how it will be enforced upon those that rationally or even irrationally disagree, apparently requiring acceptance in this form of good as a matter of fate. In practice, the or else of this social ethics is enforced as all others have always been enforced and still are, by the monopoly on violence that is the law, as discussed in prior episodes. The law differs from a gunman's threat only by being a mob of gunmen threatening us to do as ordered. The argument of modern Nietzschean philosophers is that God is dead, but we need to replace him with multiple gods, each having multiple forms of the good, but with only one universal objective value. All these gods and forms must respect each other, or else. Who will decide the or else? Again, they do not say. This new morality and ethics that is a supposed affirmation of life sounds more Christian than any Christian norms that I have heard. At least Christians are not delusional enough to expect such a heaven on earth. In many ways, this modern Nietzschean version of Nietzsche's philosophy is worse, and this new postmodern morality and ethics based on faith for a future Superman, this new faith claims the power to pass moral judgment on the past and the dead, something that even Christian theology does not allow, as we contemplated in prior episodes. I do give credit to Nietzsche for at least being honest and brutally consistent about his meta-ethics. He takes it to its necessary logical conclusions, especially when trying to replace God by human gods. His present-day worshippers of his meta-ethics are not honest in their reasoning, though they are brutal. How is this possible? What gives Nietzschean meta-ethics its power to serve as a foundation for an ethics and morality attacking nihilism, but that contradicts the ethics and morality conclusions of Nietzsche himself? It is a result of his brilliant soundbite, God is dead. Not only do readers give meaning to this soundbite, but as Nietzsche himself stated and admitted, quotation, they all act as if they had discovered and arrived at their genuine convictions through the self-development of a cold, pure, divinely sacrosanct dialectic, parentheses, in contrast to the mystics of every rank, who are more honest than the philosophers and also sillier. They talk about inspiration, close parentheses. Why, what actually happens is that they make a conjecture, a whim, an inspiration, or more typically, they take some fervent wish that they have shifted through and made properly abstract, and they defend it with rationalizations after the fact. Close quotation mark. What happens is that the worshippers of Nietzsche take their will to power fervent wish that God is dead and apply it to Nietzsche's proclamation of his death. This allows his readers to go on and give whatever meaning they want to his meta-ethics. The irony is that their particular wish seems to be that the Christian God be dead, but they then use Nietzsche to create a Christian morality and ethics without the Christian God, with themselves as the replacement gods of God. Some of these worshippers, or readers at least, honestly admit to such wish. For example, Thomas Nagel stated the following. Thomas Nagel is a modern analytic philosopher. I speak from experience, being strongly subject to this fear myself. I want atheism to be true and am made uneasy by the fact that some of the most intelligent and well-informed people I know are religious believers. It isn't just that I don't believe in God and naturally hope that I'm right in my belief. It's that I hope there is no God. I don't want there to be a God. I don't want the universe to be like that. My guess is that this cosmic authority problem is not a rare condition, and that it is responsible for much of the scientism and reductionism of our time. One of the tendencies it supports is the ludicrous overuse of evolutionary biology to explain everything about human life, including everything about the human mind. This is a somewhat ridiculous situation. It is just as irrational to be influenced in one's beliefs by the hope that God does not exist as by the hope that God does exist. End of quote. Christianity without a Christ is as much a religion as Christianity with Christ. Religion may be the opium of the people, as Marx said, but this new secular religion awaiting the coming of the Superman seems to be no different, except its people are upper class and intelligentsia superpersons, using the aesthetics of words as its opium, or more accurately, the opium for the few with the will to power to create values for the herd. If Nietzsche were to return, he would not recognize his own meta-ethics, but he would appreciate how it came to be what it is.